offerings basically in the market, and then we can get to how they interact with utilities and how contracts are won. But what I was just going to quickly say is, so O-Power now has the unique position of providing energy analytics, getting that data set, and then also servicing demand response. I'm sure that enables it to outcompete a lot of the other software vendors that are in the demand response side. But is there a risk that someone who's already providing energy analytics and has maybe not as big a data set as Oracle, but someone who is focused on that space, could they move across to the demand response and compete against O-Power there with similar sized data sets?
I mean, it's a technical possibility. However, the demand response offering was actually magnitudes harder to put into play than our regular energy efficiency solution, just because of the complexity of the messaging itself and doing the calculations so quickly.
Yeah.
That I doubt that is something that people would embark on, because it's expensive and it takes a lot of horsepower to do it. I think the bigger risk is that people don't want to switch to a software-based demand response solution when they're used to thinking about, installing black boxes that turns things off and on, because that's easier to understand.
That makes sense. So quickly just transition to the competitive landscape and energy analytics side, and then we can get into Andrew's question on selling to utilities. But in the energy analytics side, our understanding is there's probably two main players, Oracle, O-Power being the largest, and then Tendril has also come up a lot of times, and then there's some smaller players that we believe are in the space. Could you just speak about the reputation of the main players that are servicing that end of the market, their reputations, and if there are any small players that you see taking market share in the future?
Yeah, so you're 100% correct that there are two players, and the O-Power invented this space, and so they had the best reputation and also the best results. Tendril, which is the other operator, started out as an Internet of Things provider. They were going to build a smart connected home, yada, yada. And I actually believe in that vision. I think that will happen, 1 or 2 decades from now. And that's what they realized too, and so they pivoted. And, the sincerest form of flattery is copying, and so they copied O-Power's solution, and they implemented it, and they got it to work. But they got it to work at primarily one client, which is Duke Energy, that provides from 80 to 90% of the revenue. And it's not very transferable because they essentially operated as a private development shop for Duke and had engineers sitting and developing software with Duke, as opposed to O-Power solution, which was more generic, that could be deployed at any utility with a very limited and very predictable cost of implementation. And that's the main differentiation between the two. Tendril has had some operational issues and have had to recapitalize themselves 2 or 3 times. So they have a tired workforce and a very tired CEO who's great. He's awesome, but he's locked in and he can't leave because then he leaves too much equity on the table. But those are the two players.
On the table? I didn't hear that.
Equity.
Okay. Yep.
And we tried to buy them at one point, and they wanted an valuation that was much higher than ours. So we said, okay, well, we'll see you in the marketplace. And I think we lost 1 deal to Tendril, 1 or 2, and they came back. We never managed to wrestle Duke away from them. That was the big goal.